It's Pete Cohen here with another YouTube video. Today's video is a book summary of the incredible book, Think and Grow Rich. This has to be one of the most successful personal development books, business books of all time. And I want to share with you how this book could seriously help you go from where you are to where you want to be. Because ultimately, we all have a few things in common. We've got goals, we've got dreams, and we have got ambitions. And what I want to do right now is take you on a little bit of a magical mystery tour of Think and Grow Rich, how you can apply some of these principles to your life. But there are actually a number of principles. There's 17, and I'm not going to go into all of those today. But because I'm so passionate about helping people just like you, over the next few months, I will release some more videos where I go into a little bit more depth about these principles. But today, I really want to focus on a couple of the key principles. So what is this book and why should you care? Well, this book was written by a guy called Napoleon Hill, and he spent 25 years of his life interviewing some of the most influential people in the early part of last century. 25 years working on a book, interviewing 500 people. Who did he interview? The richest man in the world, Rockefeller. He also, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. In fact, the idea of this book was actually a guy called Andrew Carnegie, who originally came from Scotland, went with his family, he was just a young boy, to America. And he was working on the railways, and he was listening to Morse code, and he could hear, most people probably don't even know what Morse code is, but it's a hearing messages. And this was in time of the Industrial Revolution, where lots of roads, railways, bridges were being built as industry really took off. And one of the things that Carnegie kept hearing was that iron kept snapping. So he asked the question, what is stronger than iron? He didn't know, so he asked the question and he found out it was actually steel. And then he thought, could we use steel instead of iron? Cut a long story short, that made him the richest man in the world. He became very curious. And when we look at the secrets of success, and we talk about this in other videos in this channel, one of those is definitely curiosity. Curiosity, I don't know whether it killed the cat, but curiosity could really change your life as you start to think to yourself, how could a book like this, if I apply some of the principles to my life, change my life for me to achieve my goals, my dreams, and my ambitions? So the first thing I want to look at is this whole concept, and this is what the book really focuses on, thinking. Can we change the way that we think? Look, it's estimated that we have somewhere in the region of about 50,000 thoughts every single day. And this was one of the first books that really started to look at this whole concept of the mind and something called the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is really the controller. It controls the subconscious part of the brain, but the subconscious part of the brain is absolutely massive. And most of us are not, what would you say most of us are doing? See, we're all programmers. We are programming our brains and our bodies all the time, but what most of us program ourselves with is negativity. We program ourselves with what we did yesterday. We're very much focused on what's wrong. We're very much focused on what is missing. And what Napoleon Hill really encouraged everyone to do was to wake up to the programming we're giving our subconscious mind. Think of it like this. Think of your conscious mind as the gardener, and the subconscious part of the brain is the garden. And ultimately, what is it that we're gardening every single day with our thoughts? What are we feeding our brain? Because we know that there are a number of things that we definitely have in common. We are what the Greeks call teleological. It means we need targets. We need things to go after. But why do you think so few people actually get what it is that they want? Well, one of the main reasons is pretty obvious. It's what they're feeding their brain. What you feed your brain is basically what you end up feeling. And it's our feelings that really create success. And this is one of the key principles, that if you can start to understand how your thoughts affect your feelings and how your feelings affect your actions and ultimately affect your results. Change your thinking, you change absolutely everything. So what we need to start doing is to start getting really clear about what it is that we actually want to achieve. Now, if you look at anything that exists in the universe that's been created by man, you'll see that it's been created twice. First in someone's mind and then in reality. But the obviously work came in doing the thing and bringing it to life, what the idea actually was. But I heard this not long ago. What's the most expensive land in the world? It's the graveyard, right? Because so many people died with ideas that they never ever brought to life. And I challenge you through watching this to bring the work of Mr. Napoleon Hill to life, because he became obsessed with possibility. And I believe right now to this day that you have this possibility. Think of it like you've got this massive ship, which is you. I don't mean massively overweight. I just mean this ship in terms of your ability to move forwards in any particular direction. But what we tend to do is move our life in a direction that we've been before. Why? Because of what we're feeding our brain. So maybe now is the time for you to set the sail in a different direction, for you to think big. Remember, the book is called Think and Grow Rich. And it doesn't necessarily mean in money, just grow in possibility. So what is it in your life that you really, really want to achieve? And what is it that you would need to feed your brain to create emotion in your body that would create the drive for you to go out and get what you want? So what I want you to think about is mixing your thoughts with feelings and faith. So what does this actually mean? If you can start to see your thoughts as things, it's an actual thing, right? So you ever thought of you being successful, I don't know, being a millionaire, being a successful author, being an actor on the stage, something that you can actually see. The more you start to see that and the more you allow yourself to feel what that would actually feel like, then you start to mix faith with that, because faith is belief and belief is your ability to see something that hasn't actually happened yet. But this is something that you have to connect to every single day, because the more you connect to it, the more you start to feel it, and the more you start to have what Napoleon Hill called your definiteness of purpose. Your definiteness of purpose. What is it that you feel you were put on this earth to actually do? Of the 500 people that he interviewed, this was one of the key things that he saw in all of the people who were very successful. They had a definiteness of purpose. They had a burning desire to create something. See, one of the people was Thomas Edison. You probably heard the story of Thomas Edison. He failed so many times in creating the light bulb, but it was because he could see the results so clearly in his mind. He was so passionate about it that he did whatever it took for that to manifest. Most of us, unfortunately, are very driven away from things, and very few of us are driven towards things. But if you can create the idea, and if you can allow yourself to have the thoughts, and then to create the feelings that are associated to the thoughts, that is when faith starts to come in. And that's what emotion actually is. Look, emotion. You do this, you start to create the motion to move forwards, to attract yourself to where it is that you want to go. So ultimately, I want to ask you this. Are you prepared to pay the price? Because Napoleon Hill thought that only 2% of people around the world, only 2% would actually do this, would actually put in the work to have this definiteness of purpose, to think about it every single day, to create what he called an obsession. To be obsessed with what it is that you want to go after. Look, let's be brutally honest. We have never lived in a more interesting time in terms of possibility. There are more possibilities now than there's ever been for you and I to do incredible things, for becoming a millionaire, to traveling the world, just doing things which, when this came out, people weren't able to do. But the challenge that you and I have in order to manifest anything is we still need to apply these principles. So look, just in summary, he interviewed 500 people. He could see that what these people were doing is they were training their subconscious mind with the gardener of their mind, feeding themselves thoughts that created the dreams, that made it clear so that the ship that we're all in has a direction of where it's going. And the auto-suggestion is talking to yourself in such a way where you're telling yourself, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. As you attract this to your life, as you generate the thoughts, the feelings, the faith, and the emotion to drive yourself forwards so you can get what it is that you want. Are you prepared to pay the price? Are you prepared to go big? I love to say to people, look, go big or go home. Life is way too short to play it small. And Napoleon Hill influenced so many people. One of those people, without doubt, is Dr. Stephen Covey. Take a look at the YouTube video about the 7 habits of highly effective people if you want to learn a little bit more. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but one thing for sure is we can be incredible. We can be unstoppable. So what was your biggest takeaway? Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to seeing you on another one of our YouTube videos.